welcome to Life in Lockdown. I'm Runga, and I'm joined today by a good friend of mine who is in lockdown or semi-lockdown, or quite a bit of a lockdown. Where are you, Mr. Ross Halfin, photographer to the rock and roll stars?
London, England. I wouldn't say it's that much of a well, it is lockdown, but it's not as draconian as where you are.
I find that rather we're doing our bit over here in our bubbles. We're protecting our borders, and we're keeping this contagion down. So I think, yeah, but it is quite hard over here. We're about halfway through, but it's quite different for you over there. You're in London, and you were saying, I asked in one of the questions, I said, oh, what are you grateful for? And you said that you were grateful for the weather, because if this had happened your time of the year.
I mean, if this had happened in the middle of December, when it's just like slate grey skies and rain and it's dark at 3:30, I don't really think I would have put up with it as well.
There's something wonderful about the change of seasons as well. If you have quite definite changes of seasons, so it's quite lovely. Although I've got to say, I do love LA, which doesn't seem to have any kind of a season.
In summer, I think the one thing about LA is that most days it's blue skies. Japan's like that. Tokyo's like that, even in the winter. It's blue skies, and there's a lot to say for blue skies.
I didn't do a proper introduction for you, Sarah. We just kind of shush Malone. Basically, I know you because I was introduced to you through my sister Beck, and she said you got to meet Ross when he comes into because now that you're living in LA, you should meet Ross. So Ross Halfin, everyone needs to go and check out his website, rosshalfin.com, is a rock photographer. So he takes photographs of a lot of legendary stars, and you've been doing this for a long time now. How long have you actually been doing this for? Oh my gosh, I'm asking the hard-hitting questions, Ross.
I think that 45 years.
Oh, crikey.
Professionally, getting paid for it.
Oh, wow. And so how long just mucking around just for fun then?
Yeah, I've never actually worked.
But you love your job, so it's like you're having fun while you're working.
Do I like my job?
Yes, you love your job, don't you?
I look at it this way. Look. Everybody doesn't enjoy what they do sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But I think I don't have to get up at 7 in the morning, go to the station, get on a train, get to work by 9, finish at 5, come back in the rush hour, sit at the station when they've cancelled 5 trains, and then you're on a packed train and do that for 40 years and then have a holiday twice a year. So
yeah.
Sometimes I don't enjoy my job, but hey, generally I do. You get to travel, see the world, get to meet.
Traveling and seeing the world is a wonderful thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
And actually one of the questions I actually asked you is because you do actually travel a lot. I just asked what a couple of your favourite things were that you brought home with you to decorate your house. And where are they, sir? Show and tell, please.
Here. Can you see that?
It looks like a Zeppelin.
It's a toy Led Zeppelin. It says Los Angeles. See it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And it's from, I think, about 1916 or 1920. And it was a kid's toy. It was obviously painted at the time. It's really heavy. And I got it at the Pasadena swap meet.
Oh, it's wonderful. I love that swap meet. That's such a great place to go, isn't it?
Yeah, there. And then the other one I got this. It's a Burmese fertility statue that reminds me of you. See, it's got your hair.
You're cheeky. Where's the glass of wine, though? Where's the glass of wine or gin and tonic?
When I bought it, I thought it was quite funny, but the woman didn't think it was funny that was selling it to me. She actually said, "This is very good for you if I want to have kids."
Oh, okay. There
you go. Do you like her?
1 second, Ross. My dog is being irritating. 1 second. guess we'll have to edit that bit out.
Have I got to hold this still? I could have put it down. I'm holding it like this.
Sorry, dude.
You can edit it, yeah. She's got a nice bum.
That's very cool.
She's got a fantastic
fantastic bottom. Nice patina.
It's like
it's a lovely. You've been touching.
Rubbing it. It's like a genie. You rub it for good luck, obviously. So.
Oh God. I asked you actually in one of the questions because I mean, now that you've got a bit of time that you need to spend at home now because you have no choice. I mean, are you going through your catalogue? Are you cataloguing more? I didn't actually ask any questions, but I'm just wondering if that's what you've been up to.
I have a friend doing it for me who's actually stuck here because he lives in Italy and can't go
Oh, wow.
back.
Okay, yeah.
So he and I have been doing it, mainly he, but it's forced me in a sense to look at things that I wouldn't look at, which is quite good in the end because even you think, oh, I just don't want. It'd be like you looking at old songs or something, and then you're thinking, do I really want to listen to this again?
Yeah, it's hard for you, you know.
Look at it again, and then you actually start seeing stuff you like, which you wouldn't have liked at the time. You know, you start to praise things.
You've got such a massive catalogue of photography and pieces and, you know, images that you have taken. What is your favourite image?
The favourite picture?
Image, portrait?
I did a thing for The Guardian. I was meant to do a big talk at a big this sort of like the big photo exhibit. It was in Birmingham at a huge NEC, and it got cancelled because of the virus. I was meant to talk there a couple of weeks ago, and I did a thing in The Guardian, and I'd send them 10. I didn't realise, I thought you picture or image. They do it with various photographers, but you send them 10, and they pick one. Okay. And then he picked a Metallica shot, which of course I wouldn't pick. It's a very famous picture of Metallica with James Hetfield with this huge crowd. And it's not my favourite. It's a very famous picture by me, but it's not my favourite picture. And then, of course, the guy at the end of it said something like, oh, I'm writing a book on, you know, early 80s metal. Would you do an interview? So that's why that picture was picked. But
wow, okay. So that was his personal taste coming in there.
Yeah, it was his personal taste, not mine. So the actual picture I would pick is a picture of Ozzy. I'd gone out with him for his TV show. They were filming an episode in New Mexico.
Excuse me, I'll just interrupt. For anyone that needs to have this clarified, I believe Ross is talking about Ozzy Osbourne.
Correct.
Continue.
John Osbourne. So we're in New Mexico, and he'd gone off somewhere else for the day, and I went ahead to look at White Sands, where I wanted to go. And it got later and later, and they were running late, and he eventually got there at like 6 p.m. And you remember it's dark by 7, and he'd climb this, and he was in a foul mood, like, you know, I'm not doing this, hurry up, really in a bad mood. And he'd climb up a large sand dune, and he climbed up the sand dune, and he goes, and, you know, in typical Aussie fashion, was like, you know, hurry up, I'm not doing it. Can I swear? I'm not allowed to swear on here. No, I won't swear. I won't say what he really said.
I might just beep over it.
No, I won't say what he really said to me, but he basically was like, you know, telling me that to get it over with quickly. Yeah. And I ended up holding there for literally 5 minutes. And he goes, I'm done. And walks back down and, you know, walks back down the sand dune. But 2 things happened while we were on the sand dune. Is I got him in, because I was trying to get the exposure done quickly, I got him in silhouette with all the different layers of the land. And you've got to understand, White Sands is where Bowie filmed The Man Who Fell to Earth. And it's a sea that's actually made of, it was a sea 100 million years ago. So the actual sand is pure white, and it looks like glass, but it's not. It's just the particles, and it glows, and it's quite hard. So it looks really ethereal, looks really like you are on another planet. And I got a silhouette of him with all these layers of sand, and it was just a perfect picture for me of what I wanted. And the second picture I got of him there was when I was like, I need to get the exposure right, just hold on. He was in a bad mood. He pulled out a harmonica and started playing it. And I forgot he can play the harmonica. And Ozzy played a song called The Wizard, which is on the first Black Sabbath album. And he sat there and played it just for me on the harmonica. And that was sort of like, wow, this is actually quite special, really. But then he sort of, after doing it, he goes, you can fuck off. And that was the end of my photo shoot. But last year, that was a year and a half ago, that is my favourite picture I've ever taken.
I actually did an interview for Next magazine, and they asked if I could recommend any Instagram accounts, and I gave them both of yours. But I did say one of them was, I gave them both of you. You featured in it. But I said that, I think I said a bit of a disclaimer saying, one of those Instagram accounts is a little bit irreverent, and the other one is more, more business stuff. Like half of the things that you say, which would just get most people in trouble. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they would, wouldn't they? They have to be honest.
Totally would. One of my favourite pictures that you actually have on the site is this one of, which I did show you before, and hopefully I'll get it right on the screen. Hang on.
You know something? That was taken at the Sunset Marquee Hotel, where I always like to stay in LA, but it was taken on it was the worst weather. I arranged for him to come over, and he just turned up, and it was pouring down, black skies pouring down, and that was on the balcony to my room. It was the only place I could take him because it was raining so much. And
he looks pretty happy. He looks happy there, He's got his wine. He's got his all going on. He actually looks like he's just knocked on your door. This is what it looks like. And you're looking through, and he's like,
well, I was shooting for the hotel, and originally he was wearing a hat, and I realised it was a Waffen SS Death's Head cap. Skull and crossbones. I'm like, perhaps we do it without. It's not really a good idea.
Maybe that's not appropriate. But yeah, he's a big collector though, wasn't he?
He was a big World War II collector.
Yeah, I know that you love collecting vinyl and posters as well.
Sabbath posting. We just talked about Ozzy, that was from Berlin, 1970. That's rare. What other posters have I got? I started.
What do you think is like the best record artwork or poster artwork that you love? You know what I mean? Like that makes you go, oh, I love that.
No. Poster artworks, I like more posters that what you call fly posting. So if you were doing a show tomorrow and you made 20 posters just to put up locally because you're playing in a club around where you live, that's the sort of poster I like. I like the more
That's
generic.
The sort of stuff that if you're in New York, you peel that stuff off the walls because they're so fun. Exactly. Yeah, I've got lots of things like that.
That's why they're sort of so collectible, There's all, I've got one for Jeff Beck, and it says at the Brighton, it's called the Cadillac Club Brighton. I've never heard of it. At the Brighton Aquarium. And it says Jeffrey Beck, but spelt with a G, not a J. And that's how he's spelled his passport. That's his real name.
Oh.
Jeffrey Beck, featuring his new singer Rod Stewart. And it's from 1967. And I ended up getting that, which I really liked. Someone else would
Actually, I went with you to a Jeff Beck concert that you were shooting. Remember? And I got kicked off the stage, remember? Because I wanted to
go for a wander in the middle of the gig.
I was trying to have a look to see that if the drummer, what he was using, like his kick. I was trying to see his kick pedals, and they're like, okay, sorry.
I'm getting good stead. I'll show you something. So, number one, this is an album called Phenomenon by UFO, which I've got a big actual lithograph of this in my kitchen. And the reason I particularly like it is this is just by pure coincidence. My ex-wife, the evil one, this was her parents' house.
Ross!
This is her parents' house, so their bungalow.
Are you joking?
No.
It actually is her parents' house.
This is a pure coincidence because I know Aubrey Pound, the guy who took it, the photographer, and he said, "Where do you live?" And I told him where I live, and he went, "We took that picture there." He came around my house once. He goes, and he showed me. He goes, "It's in the next road." And I said, "Yeah, it's my ex-in-law's house." And this girl lived there for a time, and that was her parents' house. and she was their secretary. So it's a UFO. Get it? Phenomenon, UFO, unidentified flying object, and that's what you have to, right? So there's that.
That's
and by
great.
the very same photographer is this, which is also in my kitchen. It's a Japanese one. Do you know what this is?
I do not.
Atom Heart Mother by Pink Floyd. And I just think it's because when they did it, it's just a picture of a cow. And EMI Records, when they actually delivered it, this is the Japanese one, it's got the Obi, they actually said, you want a picture of a cow? And the back cover is a picture of 3 cows.
Oh.
And that's my favourite album cover. Better than the Dark Side.
Is that really your favourite album cover?
Seriously, it is my favourite album cover. It's a great piece of art. You know, people put like Joy Division and that. I mean, that is the greatest album cover ever. Just a cow. Look at it.
Wow, it's quite endearing.
No, it's nice. It's fun.
But I just like, that's lovely. And what have you been listening to?
What have I been listening to?
Yeah, I know that you've bought yourself a very beautiful new turntable. So what have you been playing on there?
I started listening to here, and I've got to come back. This tonight, which is Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Pictures at an Exhibition, which is an album I bought when I was like 13 because it was 50p in Woolworths, and it's then
50p.
Yeah, and it was. I actually thought I'd dig it out and play it. I got in anything, and it's actually great, actually. And just things that, rather than playing obvious stuff that I like say Soundgarden and things, I've been playing the Groundhogs, you know, Steppenwolf, things I have that I never played, that, you know, I bought at the time. There's a really good book by David Hepworth called Never a Dull Moment, and I just bought it to read. And it's about every seminal album that came out in '71. You know, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, even Carole King, who I can't stand, Tapestry. That was the first album.
That made such headway that people loved that album, and she's just an amazing songwriter.
It just looks like a soap dodger on the cover. She really does. And I remember hating it when I was at school. All the girls had it. But what's special about that album?
So then you liked it?
No, never liked it. But what's special about that album is before that album, girls only bought singles, 45s, and that was the first album it appealed to girls at university or at college that actually spoke to them.
Yeah.
So it was actually an album. It was
as a whole.
It's sold like 30 million now, but it was the first album that was actually girls bought, where, you know, before that, The Who, Led Zeppelin, Rod Stewart and the Faces, all very guy, blokish. You know, Jethro Tull.
Very male-dominated music,
yeah. It was very Jethro Tull. But in '71, he made a point in this book, you know, Marvin Gaye's What's Going On came out. Who's Next came out. Machine Head by Deep Purple, The Faces, and was a Wink, T-Rex, you know, Electric Warrior.
Yeah, I love that album.
Back now, and I like him more than I did, because at the time, it was a bit, he looked good and it was for girls. You know? He was on top of the pops. He appealed to young girls.
I love that.
Really.
Yeah.
But it's actually a great record. It really
It's
is.
a great record. Love it.
You know,
because Bill Withers passed away about a week ago, maybe. And I'm listening to his music, actually. And I think that's 1971 was his first album. I might be wrong, it's 1971. It's so wonderful sounding, you know, and simplistic and beautiful and with such feel. And actually just reading, I went down this rabbit hole of reading up on his life and just how he started. And when his
mechanic, wasn't he? Aeroplane.
Well, when he first, I think it was when Ain't No Sunshine became maybe and went gold. He was working in a toilet seat factory. He was working in a toilet seat factory. And when it went gold, they presented him with a gold toilet seat to mark the fact that he was starting off on a new career. And I was like, Oh my, that's fantastic.
What it is, something that's great like that transcends time.
It does, and it's just wonderful. And
yeah, it still sounds good now, rather than you listen to it.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, it's terrible, and I used to like it.
And just quickly, I'm just wondering what you've been watching, because I know that you can catch up on a lot of things when you're in downtime.
I just watched a Korean film called The Witch, which is fantastic. It's not about a horror. It's not really a horror film. It's about a girl who's a young girl of about, she's young. She's about 8. And I don't want to tell you too much, but it's a fantastic film. I saw that yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just watching a film Before You Call Me by Takashi Miike called First Love that looks quite good. Just saw that. And then I watched the Hunters, the Al Pacino thing on Netflix, which is
right. I've actually saved that to my watch list.
Yeah, the Hunter. It's appallingly.
Oh, is it?
It's got a big twist at the end, but then you realise what the twist is. It's obvious, but everything's so overacted. It's dreadful. It's really.
Okay, should I take that off my watch list then?
Take that off your watch list.
And okay, thank you for that, because I just
Tiger King, but everyone's seen Tiger King. Have you watched it?
I haven't.
Everyone
Beck
but
was
you.
talking about. I know. She goes, "What do you mean that was made for you, Belle?" And I'm like, what is she trying to say that I like? I do appreciate a good redneck, but I just.
Tiger King. It reminds you of Australia. Just go.
Okay, I don't know whether that's funny or not. Okay. Yeah.
Well, especially if you're from New Zealand.
You are. I might have to edit this, but I won't though. I won't edit this. But what are you grateful for now at this time?
Still being here. One of your questions was, when would I most like to have lived? I'd like to have
again, I said, when would you have liked to have lived? Possibly again.
I said I would like to have gone to Shanghai in 1920 because it was so, debauched. I'd like to have seen
debauched.
Talking about music was, I don't even like Bob Dylan. I mean, I like a few early things, but the last Murder Most Foul, have you heard that? The Dylan song?
I haven't.
It's 17 minutes long. And it popped up on the computer, so I was bored here and I clicked it on. And I ended up listening to it 4 times. And it basically gives a history lesson of the last 60 years. But
is it the one where he references JFK and he references
but basically what he's saying is the salvation through music, which I think was really good, but it's also very dark as well. It's amazing.
I'm going to put it on I might actually add it to this actually. I'll add it just because.
Playlist.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Ross, for doing this with me. And it's nice to see you. And you've got all these interesting things in the background, which I'd like to ask you about, but I don't have the time.
I had to remember.
Don't have the time.
In case they were offensive.
I bet you like, maybe I can't put that there. I might have to put that giant bong somewhere else or something. No. I'm going to guide people to your website anyway to have a look. And also your Instagram accounts. On seriously, some of the stuff you say on there, I'm like, I've been with you before when you've said some things and I've kicked you under the table, but I can't actually kick you across.
I can't kick me because you've got to watch what you're saying this day.
You do have to watch what you say.
It's very misconstrued. I used to do a diary thing. I stopped doing it because people would cut and paste it to suit them, and it becomes news. And it's rather than my opinion, it becomes someone's news, which is unfortunate. That's one of the downsides of social media.
That's true. Everyone always, yeah, I mean, you do have to, I feel that you do. I mean, I think you should always say what you think, but I think you need to be careful. Yeah.
Truthful. Is that the word?
Truthful. As much as you can in the court of law. Thank you very much for your time.
All right.
And I will talk with you soon.